If you are going to grow economically, your people should grow economically with you. Be careful when making financial decisions. Never mess with someone's money, never mess with someone's income, because the moment you mess with those things, you just mess with their family. Hey, how's it going, everyone? My name is Matthew Welsh, and welcome to the Leaders Only podcast, where we talk about business, leadership, mindset, and it's pretty much anything revolved around building an incredible life. You know, the reason that I started this podcast is because I felt like on the way to where we're at now, there wasn't really a place to go learn tangible skill sets, leadership qualities, and mindset strategies that you can learn today, apply today, and get immediate results. And so the goal of this podcast is to teach you the things that you need to actually win, to actually change your life, and to actually grow your business and grow your team if you're someone that's in a leadership role. And so if you can do me a favor, if you ever get something out of our message, if you ever get something out of the content, if you can like, share, subscribe, just tell people about it. We put out all this information for free. And so all we ask is that you share it with a friend if you get something out of it. So with that being said, thank you guys so much, and let's tune in.
Let's go. I'm a big mood. You can't name a lot of things that I didn't.
Today, we're going to be talking about the 4 enemies of a leader. And I think if you follow my content, I think the majority of people who follow my content are either leading teams or they have the ambition to lead or scale a team. And I think it's important that if you're going to be in a leadership role, you understand what you need to look out for, not within your team, but within yourself, because these are internal issues that lead to external problems in our organization, in our business. And if we do not make sure that we stay in control of them, it could truly be harmful to your team, your ability to create a strong culture, and it can be harmful to people wanting to be in life with you and want to be in business with you. And so I want to cover what these 4 things are. And so the first one is pride, where you are so prideful, that you are so opinionated that nothing what anyone says matter. It's your way or the highway, or there's no way at all. And that is an issue, because those who are prideful typically have a hard time being a student, and leadership is one of those things where it's not learned in a day, it's learned daily. Every single day is a journey of growth. Every single day we should be working towards getting better, and every single day there are new lessons to learn. But if you are so prideful because maybe the results that you've gotten in the past, that you stop listening to everyone and you stop trying to grow and you stop trying to get better, or you are extremely opinionated and no one else's opinion matters, then what that's going to lead to is a whole bunch of people that don't want to be in business with you. People don't want to be in business with a prideful person. They want to be in business with somebody they like, someone that's willing to learn, someone that's willing to admit when they make a mistake or when they do something wrong. They want to be in business with someone who's a human being that has a heart, that cares, where everyone's opinion is just as important as their own. That's the type of people want to be in business with. So you got to be very, very careful that the more successful you become, you don't wear pride on your sleeve where no one else's opinion matters, because everyone else's opinion matters just as much as yours. And in fact, it's those opinions that you're pushing away that could lead you from getting to the next level. But on the other side of it, it's the pride when it comes to getting information and when people try to teach you something. You know, a lot of times when we've had success and we start to do well, we stop seeking out mentorship. We stop taking in that mentorship that people try to give us because we believe that our way is better than what they have to say. And once again, that's very destructive. So you have to be very, very careful of that enemy, that first one being pride. The second enemy of a leader is ego. And ego is a lot like pride, but I want to separate the two because they are different and both of them are harmful. And so do I think ego has its place? Absolutely. There's got to be a level of self-confidence, but we can't allow that self-confidence become arrogance. And that arrogance typically comes from having a big ego. And typically what an ego does and how it hurts you in business is typically people who are egotistical make everything about them because they want to be important. The problem is leadership is not about being important. It's about making other people feel important. Leadership is not about you. It's about your people. And so a lot of times people say, man, I want to be the leader because I want to be the star of the show, or I want to be out in front. But that's not how it works. If you look at a wolf pack, the leader of the wolf pack is never the one out at front. They put the second strongest out front, and then they typically go to the back to make sure that everyone else is taken care of. So it's not about being the person that's in front that's important. It's about making sure that you're there for everyone else. And when people operate with an ego, they want things to be about them. And them making it about them is what makes their people resent them and not want to be in business anymore. You know, coming up at a young age in business, I started to have a little bit of success. And I had a good friend of mine who was a mentor at the time. He looked up to me, he goes, Matt, just because you're young and you're starting to have success, people are naturally going to shine the light on you. naturally they're going to shine the light on you because you're a great example. You're young, you're winning, you're making money. People are going to shine a light on you. And it's your ability to hold up a mirror every time that those lights get shined on you that will determine whether or not people want to stay in business with you. And I've always kept that in my mind. And by the way, does it get hard sometimes? Yeah, because the bigger you get and the more special people make you feel, right? Sometimes you want to soak it in. It feels good, right? Ego feels good. It feels good to be important. It feels good to be complimented. It feels good to have people talk about you. But in leadership, it's not about being talked about. It's about making sure your people are winning, that your people are being talked about, and that your people are having the success that they need to have to better their life. And the moment people feel that you care more about yourself than them is the moment they no longer will want to be in business with you. Your people need to feel that they matter even more than you matter. And that might be a hard pill for you to swallow, but the faster you can swallow that pill, the easier it's going to be for you to grow and build a business. The third enemy of a leader is selfishness. And selfishness can also be a lot like ego, and they can be a lot like pride because they are tied together. But the level of selfishness that I want to use in this scenario is you doing things that are in your best interests versus doing things that are in the best interests of your people. Because there's going to be days where you're tired and all you want to do is be selfish in that moment and sit on your couch, but your people need you. And it's your ability to do what you need to do versus what you want to do, what helps your people versus what helps you in those moments, that's going to determine whether or not people want to be in business with you. If you are constantly making decisions that lead to your betterment, but not the betterment of your people, then once again, people are not going to want to be in business with you. So if you have the opportunity to make a decision that puts your family in a better situation, but it puts another family in a worse situation, it's your ability to say, I'm going to choose what's best for my people and not what's best necessarily for me, that's going to determine whether or not people want to be in business with you. And by the way, does that mean that sometimes you get the short end of the stick? Yeah, it does. But that's part of leadership. Part of leadership is getting the short end of the stick and being grateful that you have a stick at all, because if your people have an opportunity to win, once again, that's what matters the most. So we have to be very, very careful of selfishness kicking in when we are only making decisions that better us and don't actually better our people. And last but not least, number 4, the fourth enemy of a leader is greed, where people feel like you value money over them, you value profits over their own family. And the moment people feel that way is the moment you lost your people. You know, one thing that I'm so grateful that I learned early on in my career is that you don't mess with two things. You never mess with someone's family and you never mess with someone's money. Because if you mess with someone's money, they feel like you just mess with their family. And anyone that has their family messed with will no longer want to be in business with you. And so as a leader, we got to be very careful when making decisions. Are you making decisions that benefit you economically and hurt your people? Well, if the answer to that question is yes, then that's a bad decision. Are we making decisions that benefit you economically, but it doesn't help your people in any way? They just kind of stay stagnant? Then in my opinion, that's a bad decision. If you are going to grow economically, your people should grow economically with you. It shouldn't just be a you thing. It should be an everyone thing, or else people are going to assume that you're greedy. And that's a bad assumption, and that's a bad place to be in. And so be careful when making financial decisions. Never mess with someone's money, never mess with someone's income, because the moment you mess with those things, you just mess with their family. You know, being in a sales position, there might be times where you have the opportunity to earn income and or you have the opportunity to opt out because other people feel like they should be a part of that income. It's your ability to say, you know what, I'm going to opt out. Not necessarily because it's right. You might get the short end of the stick, but because you know it's the right thing to do as a leader. That's a good decision. That's a good decision, because the moment you mess it up with one person, that one person can become a cancer in your entire organization, and that's never good. So be very careful. These are the 4 enemies of a leader, and they're all internal. They're not external. These are decisions we make, emotions we feel, and things that we execute upon. And if we do it incorrectly, it can lead to destroying your business. But if we can stay in control and we not allow these 4 enemies to take over, then it's going to allow you to grow, scale, keep the trust, keep the unity, and keep a whole bunch of people that want to be in business with you, not just up front, but long term, not just because of what you have, but more importantly, because of what you stand for. And so guys, if you got something out of today's message, if you can do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, tell someone about it. Every leader needs to know about this. Every last leader. So if you know anyone that's looking to build a team and or anyone that has a team, send them these 4 enemies, help them, because it's going to help them grow. Thank you guys so much. And we'll see you guys next week on the Leaders Only podcast.
Let's get it.